Oh, cool. We're actually live. Neat. A little bit of a delay between me and that. How's everybody doing tonight? What time is it? Yeah, 5:01. I got it done at about the right time. Let me turn off this AC behind me because it's a little loud. Give me 1 second. Alright. Hey, Turtle, how's it going? Right on it, are you? My man Turtle. 11 p.m. It shows 0 watching, and yet you're here. Attaboy. You don't count, right? How's it going, man? Whew, 11 p.m. Hey, what's up, Big Chungus? Aw, thanks, Turtle. For those who don't know, Big Chungus was the one that helped me test out some stuff not too long ago. My shield, right? Appreciate you coming out and helping me. Alright, no problem, man. I'm glad you're here. So anyways, I've been working on a few different things with high density polyethylene and bulletproof glass. I'm pretty excited to start talking about. Hey, what's up? Tommy Odin? I'm not really sure how to say your name offhand, but anyways. But yeah, so as the channel has been growing, which is really exciting, I wanted to revisit some other stuff. One of Odin's son. What's up? Alright. One of the things I really wanted to review was bulletproof glass. Hey Vsauce. Come on now. I'm not Vsauce. Anyways, one of the big problems I've had with bulletproof glass in the past is this. Hazing, right? I finally found a resin that actually will bind the polycarbonate, acrylic, or glass together and not cause this absolutely horrific looking mess, right? And I mean, when I say I've tested it, I've tested so many basically Vsauce. Come on, Big Chungus. Come on now. You're better than this. I've tried so many different resins. This one was actually pretty interesting. You see all the bubbles, but I kind of think that was my fault with not creating enough pressure on it. Right? I don't know if you can actually see that with this cheap webcam. But this is acrylic and polycarbonate, 1/4 inch thick on each of them. This was a cheap resin, but it actually held it together remarkably well. And so that's still going in the save pile, because that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it could be pressure. It really could. I learned that. So when I revisited this, the biggest thing I focused on was how to actually modify it. Yeah, withstand and still be a window. Yes, that's why I used, okay. You're talking about the fact that when glass shatters, it fragments so bad that you can't see through it, right? That was the initial problem with my bulletproof glass, was after a shot or two, the optical clarity was ruined, right? So you did, if you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, you can just look up my original bulletproof glass video, which was polycarbonate glass, polycarbonate glass, so on and so forth, right? There's actually a better way to do it, and that's with acrylic or laminated glass, getting away from annealed or tempered glass and actually going towards acrylic. And I've had some remarkable successes. The biggest failures I've had recently has been with how to actually bind those types of plastics together and not have them immediately delaminate, right? Or create this absolute horrific haze that you cannot see through. Both are clear issues when you're trying to make bulletproof glass. So I went through the ringer trying to find something that actually worked. This one was actually interesting because where the pressure was, it wasn't too bad. So this one might still work. This is going in the maybe pile. This one was really good, but it gave it like this weird, like, I don't know, almost like a stained glass look, right? And I think with proper compression, this might actually, aka smart people, you can still come out and shoot, buddy. But these ones, that's when I started saying, huh, that's pretty transparent. Yeah, some edge problems, right? Yeah. The newer stuff that I have in the garage, currently curing and ready to shoot on this Sunday. So you'll have a new video. What did you study to learn all these things? Sorry about my bad English. Your English is fine, buddy. What did you study to learn? Well, actually, I looked up just bulletproof glass. I focus mainly on... Here, I'll show you. So, when you're dealing with bulletproof glass, right? Oop. When you're dealing with bulletproof glass, yeah, see, they were talking about security windows, that's laminate glass, right? And all the different thicknesses. Look at that. You see that shattering and fragmenting? That's actually annealed glass that they used in there. You can just tell. But that's traditionally how it was done. And when you focus on how other types of glass is made, in particular, yeah, hold on. This is exactly what I'm talking about, like the glass, polycarbonate, glass, polycarbonate, glass, polycarbonate, right? This kind of lamination. When you focus on wait, hold on. You should have it just saved. What the heck? Hold on. How other companies do it. How do I not have that particular... Anyways, they often utilize other types of plastics. Instead of... They try to forgo glass entirely. Because... Probably just hands up. Yeah, just studying. But... The, if you forgo glass entirely, you'll actually have a... like kind of a composite that'll handle ballistic threats better. The advantage of glass is its hardness, right? Acrylic is pretty hard, but it's not as hard. But it was really research and trial and error. To explain it to you, like, just honestly, was failing and trying numerous times. Just continually. Yeah, big brain time. Going in there, failing, trying it again, failing. Have you tried to embed something like wire mesh in between? Hey, what's up, Julian? You have a very exotic name that I would butcher if I even tried. How much pressure pushes out of the edge during the squeeze? What if it was made into a pull into the edge reinforcement? Yes. Okay. First, I'll get to you. I needed a jig to keep it from separating. Because plenty of resin, depending on the pressure you use, obviously, and depending on the resin. Lexol is probably the best resin I have found so far based off of my drop tests. And like I said, Sunday is going to be the determining day. I already have footage of stuff that has worked. And it was polycarbonate and acrylic. And it worked. And it worked really well. But the lamination effect, whatever binded it, failed quickly. Most transparent resins are not that tough. And so binding those polycarbonate to acrylic or polycarbonate to glass has been very difficult. And yes, seaming it. Best fiberglass resin is made by Evercoat. Interesting. AJC. I would like to know more about this specific. Is it transparent, or are you just talking about in general ballistics? Evercoat. Evercoat. Let's sand with 32 or 36 grit. But real quick, I'm going to cover this guy's. Have you ever embedded something into wire? Okay, so with high density polyethylene, it's mostly focused on glass, but seeing as how, yeah, you're probably still watching. Yes, it is transparent. AJC. I wonder if it will react, because that's one of the reasons why it turns out like this, right? Is it'll react with either polycarbonate or acrylic. And what ends up happening is you'll have one or the other cause a haze that reduces optical clarity, right? But I'll check it out, man. Thanks for the, I'll give it a, I'll look at it. Like, legitimately. I'm always looking for new ideas when it comes to molding this stuff. And that's one of the reasons why I like polycarbonate and acrylic versus polycarbonate and glass, is that we could actually make a domed visor rather than just a flat plated visor, right? But real quick, have you ever embodied something like wire mesh between layers of high density polyethylene? I am currently doing, okay, my HDPE video that's going to be dropping is going to be pretty, yeah, no problem, with green heart, light green though. Turns light green? That's interesting. I wonder if it's a UV blocker. And I wonder if you can maybe skim off on a different hardener. Because hardeners sometimes are universal with the catalyst. I'll have to give it a shot. Yeah, so the high density polyethylene video will be coming out very soon. I finally have enough. I'm going to be testing, okay, here's a few things I'm going to be testing. Is that, yeah, so yeah, maybe we can find one that's a little bit more transparent for our uses. One of the things that I'm going to be testing is annealing. Obviously, I've been focused on annealing for some time, and it's not been easy. Like, legitimately, it's not an easy task to get annealing to work properly. Mainly because you have to hold it at a temperature and slowly drop it down, right? It sounds easy, but long term, like, dialing that in has not been, it has not gone without its faults. And so I needed a bunch of other HDPE to test some things. One of the big ones, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill. Thanks, Big Chungus. But one of the big things that I've been interested in is, can we mold it in a way that you don't have to necessarily take it out of the oven for the whole process to start. Like, instead of taking it out, curing it fully, and then placing it back in to raise it up to a temperature to anneal it, could we mold it in a way that we could cause the annealing process? Is there a Discord for your project? Hop on Discord, buddy. If you go to right here is the link. Please come on over. Everybody that's watching this, we have some great guys over there with some amazing ideas, and it's been wonderful in the last couple of weeks just talking to Turtle. And yeah, hop over, man. There's some awesome dudes that have just as much of a fundamental understanding as this stuff as me, and have plenty of questions. So we've been going back and forth in the general chat and other stuff. But yeah, hop in the description. Click on the Discord link and join it. Take changes from me. Alright, so 1 second, Will Shaw. So what I was going to say is, so annealing is one thing I need to answer. Fundamentally, I need to answer also how much compression is needed on high density polyethylene to actually stop bullets. That's an important question. So I'm going to try everything from duct tape to denim. I'm going to start low. I just want to see at what point will the bullets stop passing through the high density polyethylene, because that was one of the things I stated, was that it required being under compression. Annealing is different. I'm going to see if we can stop bullets without compression, and that will be revolutionary if it works. And I'm really hoping that'll be right, like that'll be awesome. But we don't know that yet, so we're separating that. We're going to try some compression tests, and one of the big things about compression is I'm going to try duct tape, like I said, fiberglass, denim, a bunch of different things on gradients, so you can see like, okay, greater compression equals this, and what's that maximum. And then there's another molding technique that I was talking about that was actually given to me by a guy from Discord, which was instead of just wrapping it one way, but wrapping it both ways, right? Would that create a greater compression? That's a good question, and I want to solve that before we go into the final plate, because the idea is to make a 12 by 10 multi-curve high-density polyethylene plate with whatever additive is needed to stop the highest ballistic threat. The easiest, right? That's the goal. Okay, so those compression, draw vacuum on it. Yes. I don't know why that, oh no, he said draw vacuum on it. I don't know why that was flagged. I guess vacuum is a naughty word. No one say draw or vacuum. YouTube's like, no, not on that. That's a, yes, I have a vacuum former. And you're right, better compression over the molding. Yeah, right? Why? Why, YouTube? Hey, whatever. It's helping me to prevent people from, I guess, just spamming a bunch of dumb stuff. But in the end, some sort of compression or critical vacuum would be wonderful. In the final molding process, annealing ideally will be perfect. And the other one it was compression. I'm trying to think. There was one other thing. No, better results, no air pockets. Yeah, because it could theoretically pull it all the way out, right, AJC? That's one of the reasons why this next HDPE video is going to be focused on primarily how to get the most out of your plate. Oh, additives. That's why I started on this. Additives. I'm going to add fibers and metals in between it because so many people want me to try it. I'm going to do it. I've already kind of started working on how I could make the high density polyethylene as thin as possible, and that was the final thing. HDPE from other sources. People have been asking so much about how do I, if I don't have just milk jugs and water jugs, what other sources can I acquire my high density polyethylene from? And I've always steered away from dyed HDPE, but I'm going to test multiple sources from buckets, recycling bins, trash cans, you name it. I'm going to cut it up, mold it up, and I'll give you guys like, okay, general purpose from bags and other stuff. Will it still function? And I can give you guys an honest result to that. So, alright, well, 11 guys watching. Awesome, Big Chungus. Hop on there and say hi to everybody. There's a good group of people, man. It's been a lot of fun. And if you're on Discord, it's a lot easier to reach me. The comment section, it's hard for me to always be up to date on when a comment drops or if there's a thread of comments. I don't always get a notification. I think so too, AJC. I really do. That's why my final, I think that I don't want to just build a 12 by 10 right now because it would be lightweight and we could probably stop the 223, but I kind of want to stop that 7.62 by, 52R, the Mosin-Nagant. That's not easy. It's not easy to reach that like 308, 52R rating. It's not easy to do, man. You need like some hardened steel some really good ultra high molecular weight polyethylene or ceramic to do that. I think that with proper additives, proper molding technique, we might actually be able to reach that, man. I really do. And that's what I'm gunning for right now. That's what my last video was kind of about. Was I wanted, because I have 3 plates that I sent to Toflater Mouse that are hopefully going to be he's testing it like today. So hopefully in a week or so you'll have a video on Toflater Mouse. If you haven't seen him, go check it out, man. He's a great YouTuber. Way more viewers than me. Way more subscribers than me. And I'm thinking my channel's gonna kind of maybe pop off a little bit after that, because I sent him as best of mine so far my capabilities was, and now he's testing it, and I think hopefully it turns out really well, and I'm pretty excited about the results. So I'm gonna finish the glass first, though, right? I want to finish my bulletproof glass, just so people have a good reference of proper molding techniques for that, because that's, yeah. Footy with the thumbs on. Yeah, collabs are always really good. It's fun to do. Hope you make it, bro. Thank you. It's hard to make a plate that will stop at 308 or yes, without accept. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, 7 point. You're still generous. I mean, like, shoot, boy, 8 pounds. Like 8 to 9 pounds. It's hard, man, to stop. Any given. Yeah. A 308 is a powerful bullet. Like, it's not like it's like once you start scaling, once you start touching rifle rounds, like the velocity, because speed is what kills bullet or armor, right? The faster that round is traveling, the more likely it is to just blow right through stuff, even if it's a small bullet like the 223 or 5.56. It will blow right through stuff. And if it's steel core, forget about it, man. That stuff will just ignore certain armors. Just ignore it. Right? And if you get into tungsten or spent uranium rounds, the stuff that civilians really have a hard time getting a hold of, depending on the states, if you are in the United States, be a good alternative to a squeeze process. I don't think vacuum bag would be, but some sort of vacuum chamber where you could degas it. Sure, vacuum bagging, I don't think the bagging material would necessarily, I guess it depends on what you mean by, are you talking about with high density polyethylene, or are you talking about compositry? If you're just talking about composites, then absolutely vacuum bagging is wonderful. The better alternative to the squeeze process. I have a vacuum bagging equipment. I usually keep it simple for everybody, but as we go on, I'm going to show you how to build your own equipment, kind of like my cure box, and then we will eventually get up to, better compositry. Because in the end, that's what we want. We want a better ratio of resin to composite fabric. We want, a more even distribution of that. We want less air bubbles, because then you get the highest ballistic resistance, or just any impact resistance, honestly. High ballistic coefficient with 30 cal HDPE with additives is mesh fiber. Would you think it would be done? Yeah, bubbles are. I reload and can build you whatever round in particular we were working with. Really? My father reloads a lot, so you work with reloading. I'm starting to learn more of the ballistic threats and stuff. Alternatives, i.e. mesh fibers. I don't know if adding fiberglass to the actual Turtle, what about the M99? Turtle. Enough with you. Is that the tungsten round that you're referring to, Turtle? But the answer, yeah, it was the tungsten round. Yeah. that one's stupid, man. Stupid tungsten and spent uranium. That's going to be the hardest thing in the end to stop. How long have we been going for? Only 25 minutes. Cool. Do you guys have any questions? So yeah, so the 5 things I just want to say is compression of high density polyethylene for the next HDPE video. Compression, how much is needed. Annealing, is there a better way to fabricate it overall? And can you place materials in it, which is fiberglass and steel? Okay, so these are some of the, like, there was something else that I think I might have mentioned, but I'm forgetting. But the Bulletproof Glass one is going to come first because my channel's recently been blowing up because of Bulletproof Glass. Because there's another YouTuber who's using, or trying to make it. Don't use fiberglass if you can avoid it. If you want glass fibers going into your body, you're going to air and hit when you inhale it. Yeah, that is an interesting factoid about, you know, fiberglass. You know, honestly, fiberglass itself is pretty inert and doesn't damage your body nearly as much as certain aramids, but the resins that are coated in it when it's turned into a more aerosol particulate, that is a lot worse for your lungs. But I understand what you're saying. I'd rather inhale fiberglass than get shot, though. Yeah, foot with the thumbs on. Footy with the thumbs on. Interesting name. Cute little thing. But yeah, in the end, he's right, though, on considering, like, you know, when we're testing stuff in particular, you know, obviously in a pinch. Thanks for coming out, Colonel Panic. You have a really cool plate design. By the way, if you guys join our Discord, like, he's got a really good grasp. I've worked with ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene before, that fabric, and man, that stuff's gonna... I'm really excited to see if you test out a small sample of it, because that stuff is dope. Like, I kind of want to see what you end up coming up with your... Yeah, slowly working. I understand. It takes time, man. It takes time. You got to piece it together, you know. I've worked on this for, what, 8 years? I've only had a YouTube channel for 3, and I stopped uploading for almost 2 years, right? Like, I mean, I had a YouTube channel, you know, a YouTube, because how Google switched its whole preferences, and if you watched YouTube, you had, you know, and had a Google, whatever. But I pretty much stopped uploading for 2 years, so... But the Plateland has crazy, the Plateland Discord has crazy... Which Discord is it? Yeah. Yeah. The Plateland... Yeah, that would be awesome, Panic. Anything you can give the group, I would appreciate. Because you're probably the first person to drop ultra high in our Discord. Like, I mean, other people have mentioned it, but you're the first person that's like, hey, I'm going to test it other than me. Plateland. I'll check it out. I'll check out their Discord. You know? Maybe there's already another Discord dedicated to armor. Well, too bad. Ours is going to be better. Ha ha ha. Modern conventional armor composites. We're also going a little off-roading, I guess you could say, with some of our designs, because we're trying to test a bunch of different variables. And I'm also not just focused on ballistic threats. I also want to know about stab and slashing, you know, in the thinnest, lightest possible. If you go to our Discord... Right, we have let's see, I don't want to just, bounties, right? These are some things that Zach has been thinking up that's brilliant, and we've discussed them in detail of different materials to try and strengths, like, you know, making it stop. And this is just going to be a forever growing list of, like, you know, order to move up, I guess you could say, in the Discord ranking, is dropping actual, like, hey, I want to build this, I want to work on this, and whatnot, sharing papers, coming up with good resources. So that way when people that want to test it can explore it and bring it to the table. You know, we have a few people that are just dropping information they can't really test, you know, from different places in the world. Well, it's like, I understand you can't really test it if you know, live in a place where, you know, I can just go out to a range. Not everybody has that luxury, you know. So, anyways, but I'll check out this plate land. Anybody else have questions? I was going to go for about an hour or so. How many people do we have watching? 12 still? Everything sounds good? So, I'm doing a few plate experiments after watching your videos. Awesome. Can you drop those on the Discord? Mainly, the nice thing about Discord is I can document it, you know, save it back for those who want to share it. I mean, it's free to join Discord. Do you have a link in order to join the server? Yeah, Yeah, you want to test different sources? I want to too. I think that if we're going to go into an HDPE, a lot of people want to see it from, you know, buckets and anything you can have that has the, you know, the 2 symbol on it for recycling, because that's pretty universal. I got my big packets of 2 different types of fiberglass in my resin and sourcing my ceramic tiles this weekend and making my molds. You know, document bill. And finding's got my own range. Awesome! AJC. It might be an invite only. Hey, it's alright, man. If you don't want to drive, put on a live stream. I get it. You know, I would love to talk to those people, though. If they're really interested. You know, maybe we can share ideas. That's what this channel is all about, is just swapping ideas out and trying to build the best possible armor. That's what it's about, you know. If other people want to be more secretive, you know, obviously we have tiers to it. So if there's more sensitive material, stuff that you've personally been studying and testing on your own, you know, we have that so you can... Thank you, AJC. I would love to hear all of it, man. And yeah, bring it over. People would love to see it, for sure. Do it in the showcase, you know. Like, hey, this is what I've tested, you know. People will really like that. But, so we have... Because I have some stuff that I've been working on that I haven't finalized. You know, and trust me, once I get stuff to work properly, you guys will be the first to know. But until then, it's nice to have a group of people that are understanding, like, well, might be sensitive material because, you know, I haven't finished it, or it might be worth money, you know. If you come with kind of an invention idea, you don't want a bunch of people to be like, hey, look at this invention, what a brilliant idea. It's like, oh, thanks, guys. You know, not necessarily that I would ever actually patent anything that I produce, because I'm more about, you know, sharing it. I meant them through the K, if you're familiar with the bag body armor. General, okay. I met them through the K. Oh, okay, so are you bag body armor general threads? Interesting. I'm trying to think of the website. Is that a 4channel? Is that, yeah, -K? Yeah, that is. I haven't been on there in years, man. Years. When I was looking at some stuff like that. Not, you know, nothing to diss them. Obviously, yeah, Europe. Oh, you got the link. You couldn't drop the link. I put it in the description. Can you not click on it to get it? We tried using armor spell to improve. Okay. I have not. But yeah, I haven't really hopped on those forums or threads in years, man. Maybe I'll give it a, you know, a little bit of a dive just to see what kind of people are what people are working on. I don't like stealing ideas though. I don't want to just, you know, take people's ideas. I would rather than, you know, kind of share them in a group. But obviously, if they already have their own forum and general thread and all their stuff's established, Yeah, you can't. Here, hold on. Can I just... This is what Zach was saying. Can you click on that? Ha, you can. You can't do it. Ha ha ha. I haven't given you those privileges. Join that Discord. But really, if you're going to build it and test it, please come by our Discord and drop it off. We're trying to build it currently, and there's a good group of people working on stuff, man. I mean, it's cool that you have your own... Yeah, you're... Hi, man. You know, it's cool that, you know, I mean, obviously other people are going to be working on this in other places, but I'll have to scope it out, see if I can find their Discord, maybe reach out to them. We could do a collab or something. That'd be cool. Stick the DIY back threads and compound on their unimplemented. Stick to the DIY bag threads and compound on their unimplemented tests. Yeah, that's one of the big things I'm trying to gravitate towards, is I really want to give you guys proper backface deformation off of ballistic threats, right? Because that's critical to, you know, just because you stop a bullet, we can predict it. Yeah, Zach, you're right. We got some really amazing compiling. Yeah, we are currently archiving and compiling a lot of different stuff. And man, some of it is the hybrid composites that we're working on. I don't want to get too far ahead. Right. Hey, Kashra or Kashar? What? I can't say your name. I'm sorry. Kashra? Hey, what if you use plastic bags instead of melting them with your resin, them together like Kevlar? You mean compression? Plastic bags are often made of either low density polyethylene or high density. If you had enough high density, you theoretically could laminate, because it is, yeah, it's a good idea. I've heard a lot of that stuff. You're talking about a non-Newtonian counting keys. How's it going, buddy? Okay, you're talking about experimenting with polyethylene glycol and silica powder. Yeah. Are you on Facebook or Instagram? I am, under the name James Stagg, or Tech This Out Meow. I don't upload at all to Instagram, really. Not really. That's why I was like, you know, if I need a fallback, if something happens. My Facebook is more about me and, you know, my kid and everything. Not that you can't message me on it, but the reason why I was focused more on getting a Discord is it just seemed easier to communicate, because I have it on my phone and on my computer, and it's easier to communicate. But yes, counting back to live chat, home slice, back to the live chat. What? What are you saying? Winter's destruction? Or should I say count? What is your name? None of your business. Want to give us your personal info or just... Alright, anyways. Yeah. Oh, well... Or just... I prefer Discord, honestly. I think you would be easier to... Yeah, I think you would have an easier time messaging me on Discord, honestly. I don't really do social media. YouTube is my only social media. And now, this is a no dog zone. Yeah, no, I'll delete it. Sorry. Yeah, here's my name and social security number. If you also want my birth certificate information, I'll drop that a little bit later. No, it's easier, AJC. I mean, if you want to personally direct message me, you can on Discord. If you don't have a Discord set up, I understand. You can just, you know, you can find Tech This Out Meow on both Twitter. Oh, okay. Thanks, Mom. Kind of hand over your credit card information. but yeah, you can find me on Discord under Tech This Out Meow. or sorry, Twitter and, oh, promo, thank you. On Twitter and on Instagram, but I don't use it. If I ever do, it's because I have to. But I really want to talk real quick about counting keys. You said, are you still here? Polyethylene glycol and silica powder. That's a non-Newtonian fluid that's very, how would you like to impact polymer so far? It's pretty amazing, but it's really hard to work with because of how fast it sets up. But a non-Newtonian fluid is pretty amazing. You could theoretically make a very thin stab-resistant fabric out of, if you found a strong enough one. The problem with the polyethylene glycol and nanosilica that you're referring to is the cost. Polyethylene glycol itself is not expensive. Nanosilica, in order to get that reaction to happen at the rate you need it, is really difficult. Yes, hemp does sound really interesting. How do you like the simpa so far? You have about, okay, this stuff has some of the, which is what you're talking about, kernel panic. I'm currently working on how to properly fabricate it. You would have to go in smaller layers. You could not do it all at once, man. You would have to do like 5 layers, 5 layers, 5 layers, however thick you ended up wanting it. However, the material properties of this stuff here, this 85 Shore A, is unbelievable for a polyurethane. I haven't found one that has the same material properties, to be honest. It might be the most energy absorbent resin I've tried to work with, in a way. It's so good. So yeah, I highly recommend it. But I understand, yeah, because of that working time, you don't have a long window. 2 to 3 minutes is not long once you finish mixing. It's more for a pourable resin. It's not made for what we're designing it, or what we're trying to do it with. That's what I'm saying. Maybe you could do an intermediate lamination where you do 5 layers, right? Like laminate 5 layers, rest, 5 layers, rest. It's going to take more working time for you. Yeah. And you just build up X. But the energy absorbing properties of it, you're like, yeah, that might be way better than using an epoxy. Like legit. So I highly recommend looking into that Simpack. That's why I bought quite a few little like sample sizes of it, just to see how well I could actually impregnate it into, as a urethane, a pourable urethane. It's really good. So yeah, what did you guys think about the my recent demo video that I did, or promo video, I guess I could say? Did you guys enjoy it? As I'm working towards, you know, getting more bulletproof glass and HDPE and stuff. Dank? Zach. You can tell one of the mods from my group is here, right? Oh, yeah, I mentioned a little bit earlier, Zach, come on, man. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, I highly recommend jumping on our Discord. No, seriously, Zach and Winter's Destruction have been, and Turtle. Yeah, and Turtle. I can't forget about you, man. Have been pivotal to some of my... It's right in my, if you go to my, the basic info on this video, and if I just do this, he has a cursed modded Trinity. You can click on it, it'll take you right to it if you have Discord downloaded. Like seriously, there's some good people on there, man. And yeah, there's collaboration projects to progress the servers, you know. access to cursed materials. You don't necessarily need to be able to shoot. Yeah, if you just want to give research, you know, man, like, hey, this might, like, here's a research paper that I've read that seems, really interesting, and I want to see that being tested. If you have an idea, we would love to hear your idea. We're not going to just, crap all over you for bringing something and that, might necessarily not work, and especially if it's well documented. Mr. Panic came in and was just like, hey, you ever thought of using organic materials here? And just like, wow, I have read a little bit about this. And he just dropped this wonderful, can I send you test plates? Would you like to actually send me test plates to shoot? There's someone else that, like 2 other people. Maybe I can set up a P.O. box, and in the next couple months we will be able to do something with that. So yeah, maybe we can set something up there, buddy. Contribute plate research. You also have access to the meme channel. Definitely a reason why to join. Yeah, the meme is pretty good. Eventually, hell yeah, definitely, man. Message me on there. I would totally. Oh, okay. I don't know if he's still on here, the guy that dropped the question. And yes, we want to send you our samples. Yeah, we could set something up where a bunch of people would send in stuff. I've been thinking about that. Get on there and check out our bounties. There's a few different bounties we've come up that are, if you can match some of those or send in stuff that you theoretically think could. But yes, Mr. Panic, what is this polyethylene? Okay, so a non-Newtonian fluid. It already knew what I wanted. Right? A shear thickening fluid in particular is what people are referring to, because there's also shear thinning. Whoops. I just dove right into, something that hardens on impact, right? In particular, like I said, it's a shear thickening fluid. There was an old test, yes, exceptional energy distribution and stab resistance. Probably, but there are limiting factors to that. There's significant limiting factors to that. I've been messing with polymers for some time. IDK, how much you want to know about polymers, but Tech Ingredients has some great videos on polymers and how to strengthen them. But Tech Ingredients, I'll have to scope it out, man. Tech Ingredients is the name of the channel. Has some great videos on polymers and how to strengthen them. I'll scope it out. I always like to learn new stuff. Will Earthly Leopard hop onto our Discord and drop some of that info, bro? But, yeah, so, Mr. Panic, shear thickening fluids. Walter White? Yeah, really big into chemistry. I love chemistry, too. I'll scope it out, man. For real. Maybe there's some, I love learning new things about polymer groups. But a shear thickening fluid, pretty much on a very small, like almost molecular scale or even molecular scale, there's, imagine like shingles suspended in a solution, like on a roof. And then when an impact happens, they lock up, right, throughout the solution as the impact, because they're have a weakly charged particle that makes them want to actually sync up. Awesome, Earthly Leopard. Great to hear it, man. Great to have you. Drop some ideas. And then when the shear force is removed, they open back up. So theoretically, you could laminate them into a composite, and you would have a composite that would be flexible if you were gently flexing it. But if you try to quickly snap it, it would solidify into a hardened shell. That is the absolute highest idea of a shear thickening fluid, a non-Newtonian fluid at its 10th degree. The problem with it is they are very temperature dependent. You go over a certain temperature range, those particulates that are suspended in the solution, the silica in the polyethylene glycol in this instance, they separate too much because they're agitated because of all the heat. And when you drop it down, yes, it's too expensive, right? But we can still talk to, yeah, there's other materials that are potential there, Counting Keys. I've actually got a few saved that I want to bring up because I'm still testing those. Non-Newtonian fluids shouldn't be thrown out, or especially shear thickening, right? Just because of the specific one you said is too expensive. There are other ones out there that might be relevant that are more temperature dependent. Because like I said, if you go too far down, it'll actually solidify. Because, you know, as the material shrinks because it's cooling, those plates are more likely to bump, so it doesn't take as much force. So if you can imagine that, that would mean that, like, okay, your armor is great in this temperature range, but if you go too cold, like in the Arctic, then all of a sudden your armor feels like, you know, like solid plate and it's hard to move. Or if you go up into like the Sahara, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's not even stopping bullets. So there would only be a section of range where you could actually utilize it. But there are some that aren't as dependent on those temperature ranges that are worth looking into. And there's theoretically even more out there that people haven't discovered, right? Once you understand that it needs like a slight charge to the particle to cause that. I remember reading about carbon sheets being used. I wonder how difficult and expensive. Carbon sheets. Yeah, body heat, you're right, because it's going to be very insulating, because it's going to be, you know, decent amount of layers, so theoretically the inside would be more gooey than the outside, right? So you need a decent, stable one. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't look into it, because there theoretically could be more material there, right? Like something else that would work really good if we can figure out how to make it work. I'm interested in these carbon sheets you're talking about. Is it like carbon fiber nanotubes? Okay, I'm starting to look at this. Oh, Mr. Panic. That is some interesting stuff. No, I mean, I've been also working on stuff very similar to that, Mr. Panic. Very similar. And, boy, yeah, drop that on the Discord. We'll talk to you a little bit more about that, because that's been a very interesting test that I've been working on. But it hasn't, it goes alright, I guess. There's some problems to that, but that's something I'm kind of keeping up under the hat, because there are limiting factors. Yeah, I'll talk to you about it. I tried laminating blue rain barrel HDPE, and I struck in a third incisors thing. Who else had experience with high density polyethylene sheet shrinking? Very much so. High density poly, yeah, you underwent creep, plastic deformation. While it was curing, it shrunk, right? That's why when I mold plates of high density polyethylene, I keep the tension on it. And once it starts cooling, I apply a little bit more tension, because it expands when it's heated. And so you have to apply tension because it's going to want to do that. Not graphite, graphene, or graphite. I know about graphene. Graphene is stupid awesome. It was graphene? Yeah. Graphene. Man, if you could build up from graphene, I'll Google it real fast to get the exact name for you. Yeah, it was graphene. Graphene, I will look into more of that. I would love to work with graphene, but the cost. You know, theoretically, if you could find a good way to produce graphene, and there's some interesting ones out there, then yeah, that's very relevant. The problem is production. That happened in my toast oven. Did you keep it compressed there to make oven? So graphene armor vids, the good ones aren't up anymore, but he made a test of graphene and PVA glue, and it seemed impressive. With graphene and polyvinyl, but hemp plastic sounds cheap, yes. So you didn't compress it, it just kind of shriveled up. That's very common with high density polyethylene, and then you'll get those waves in it. You gotta compress it, man. You gotta get it under compression while it cools, because it wants to shrink. when it's heated up, and then, or it wants to shrink when it cools. It expands when it's hot, and it contracts. Yeah, graphene is amazing. I'll totally look at it. Robert Murray Smith on YouTube. He had some counting keys. I'll totally. Yeah, the M8. Yeah, very true, Zach. It can be cut to shape too. It was cut to shape too. Oh yeah, I know, man. That shrinkage. Yeah, that M855, man. That's steel core, steel tip and steel core for a 556. That's why the ceramic from later. Yeah, stopping that steel core is number one. That's one of my top bounties. Yeah, stuff is, it's always. I kind of think that not. Well, it was nanotubes, not graphene. Yeah, I know, Turtle. But the main thing is what civilians. The main thing is to stop steel. Once we stop steel, then I'll come. I have a few other ideas I've been saving back. Okay, I still have other stuff. This magician still has a few tricks up his sleeve. Trust me when I say that. There are a few other things that I've been kind of keeping under my hat that I'll bust out with composite layering and a few other materials worth trying. Because yeah, in the end, actually stopping the steel core, because if you have a 556, something that's chambered in a 556, the fact that you can switch between just normal, jacketed bullets, hollow points, or a steel core bullet is relevant, because that you don't know if a civilian or whoever's shooting at you, what bullet they're shooting. Like, hey, before you shoot me, what are you shooting at me? Because I need to know if my armor. It's like that doesn't happen, right? So steel core is relevant to stopping. But there, we have done it before, and I think we can do it again, And I think that one of the big things that we're looking at is how to approach steel core armor, AP. Armor piercers, right? Yeah. Yeah. Zoomy boy, yeah. HP to, yeah. We gotta focus on, that's definitely something that's coming up, is how to approach AP armor, or AP rounds. Because even normal armor that you buy, it'll tell you if it can stop. Like there's like 3+ and all this stuff. Now, because steel core 556 will blow right through most AR 500 steel. Like it's nothing. There'll still be a pin that will go through you. That steel slug will still zoom through you. I know they made it even thicker, but you're like, at that point, I'm not carrying that. I don't even want to carry steel to begin with. It's just too heavy. Armor penetrating armor would be pretty sick. Did I say armor penetrating? AP, I meant, sorry. Shut up, Turtle. I meant armor penetrating bullets. That's what I meant. Yes, it does. The 308 is a brutal round, man. The 308 is... I haven't been able to really test out the 308 on my armor. The closest comparison I have is a 7.62 by 52R, which isn't exactly the 308, but it's pretty close, right? On speed and size. It's not the same, though. And that, is not as brutal. But the end goes through. Yeah, well. We'll get there. We'll get there, okay? We'll get there. You're still back. I'm not knocking the idea. Yeah, it is a great substitute. I'll test 308 on mine. 3 AP. That would be wonderful, Mr. Panic, if you could. Yeah, I believe that we can continue to compress it down. Don't get me wrong. I think that there is layering in there. I've been studying armor for some time, and one of my things that I keep coming back to, even in medieval designs, is the idea of like a hard material on a soft material, or a more, or I should say a more brittle, rigid, high tensile strength material on a more ductile surface. And in preliminary tests, like the hard on soft, soft on hard mentality, look at bulletproof glass. Hard glass followed by laminated glass, followed by a ductile polycarbonate layer, followed by a hardened laminated layer, followed by so on, etc. Depending on how thick in ratio you do those, tells you how much bullets you're going to stop, and what calibers, and what velocities. So it's like you can dial in this principle with the hardest possible material and the most ductile possible material, or the most energy absorbent, like the most elastic, right? There's a lot of material science that you can consider. Hyperelasticity, viscoelasticity, ductivity, hardness, right? There's a lot of variables that I want to continue to test, because maybe this material works, but there's something just slightly better that ends up, once you get it to a certain thickness, it performs way better than the counterpart. And also, some materials, when you continue to go thicker, it actually has diminishing returns. Just adding another few layers on it doesn't do anything. So understanding why these materials work in tandem with each other is critical to stopping the highest caliber round in the thinnest possible plate that's light enough, that's easy enough to mold, right? And really, Tech Ingredients made a substrate sort of like that. He ordered everything from China and it didn't seem like it was too expensive to make, but he wasn't doing ballistic tests on it. Well, that's what this channel is about. We will do the ballistic tests. Yeah, layering, composite layering is very critical to the future of my armor. And I think, in future of armor in general. So, well, it's like 6:03. Was there any other, I've been doing it for about an hour or so. One last time, I'll drop the Discord just in case anybody who's watching wants to join. Feel free to come on over, guys. Man, we have a good group of people. We talked about the Bulletproof Glass video. That will be my next video. Okay? High density polyethylene will be dropped soon. Toflater Mouse just tested my stuff today, so I'm really excited to get back the feedback of 3 of the plates that I sent him. So you'll get another HDPE test hopefully by next week. It might be a little bit later than that. I don't want to lie and say, oh well, like I don't know for certain. It really depends on how the tests go this coming up week. But you will for sure get a Bulletproof Glass video sometime next week. I'm trying by Tuesday. Let's see. So we have the Bulletproof Glass, high density polyethylene. I have 2 other non-armor related projects that are still kind of interesting, kind of relevant to the material science that I'm going to drop. I have a multi-curve plate design that's coming up for my full suit, and a single curve, just a normal domed plate. So both of those will be coming up. But yeah, jump on the Discord and we can talk after the live stream as well if anybody has more questions or comments and want to discuss some stuff. I just need to go make some food. So, any other questions? Anybody? No one has questions. Invite expired. Bon appetit. Did the bona? No problem, man. This should have been my permanent one. Let's try it. Yeah, it should have worked. It was expired? Earthly Leopard? Was it really? I could create a new one. If you come back in a little bit on the... actually, if you just go to my... Really? Huh. Well, let me see if you go to my channel. Right? Wait, hold on. you go to my channel, it should have it right here, the link. Can you try that one? And see if that connects you? Maybe it is expired. It's not supposed to expire yet. If not, just wait a little bit. I'll put it up on my face or on my YouTube. I'll add a different one if this one is, but I'll try it. Yeah, just give it a shot. If not, I'll make sure a new link is posted soon, so you can check out on my YouTube page or whatever. Alright guys, but it was good talking to you. It was a good one. Try this one. There's nothing there. Can you put it in general? Could you, Zach, could you put it in? Cool. Okay, thank you. Let's see, copy link. Boom. Here you go, buddy. Come on over. Sometimes they, even if it, you know, there you go, guys. You know what? I'll delete this one. And I'll add it in for those who can't reach it after the fact. Oops. Alright, so. I don't know what yours was. Maybe yours is different because you're from Germany, right? Alright guys, everybody's heading off here. Let's go ahead and... You're on it now? Excellent. I'll talk to you soon, man. And thank you guys so much for watching. You know, I'm trying to keep these a little bit shorter. I don't want to use the store-bought plates for a mold in case that's useful. Yes, I've seen his on my stream of bids we were talking about. Have a good one. You too, man. Enjoy it. And I have seen some ZNA stuff with welding blankets. Very impressive stuff, man. I've utilized it too. So, yeah, alright, man. Take it easy. See you guys in the next one. Take care. Alright? Let's go ahead and close this down. Later.